Hi, everyone. This is Jean Ellen. Before we end our session today, we asked members to send in questions they have about conflict resolution, and we have several of those submitted. Leanne, we're glad you can assist today. And Donna, would you also mind helping answer questions?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, sure. Our first question, which will load, there we go. In some chapters, the leaders hold offices up to 6 years. I think other members should become more involved. How do I get involved?
That's a good question. This is Donna. The number of years a person may hold office may be documented in your bylaws. Nominating committees could consider finding different, new, and qualified members to serve in these positions. And be thinking that new members, if given a job, are more likely to attend meetings and become more involved in the chapter. Some other ideas on why to get involved or to involve your members. If you are interested, let officers know you're interested in getting more involved. For the chapter, to understand the chapter positions, a chapter might hold a chapter fair where all the officer and chairman roles are presented as job booths to explain what is involved with the position. I know that several chapters across the society have done this. That has helped improve their look at roles and responsibilities. Another idea is encourage everyone to change roles with each change of administration. This will help to get everyone familiar with many positions within the DAR. And also, the individuals possibly might discover something they didn't realize they were interested in. And if encouragement isn't enough, create a standing rule that chapter members are expected to change roles at the change of each administration.
That's a great idea. Thanks. Question number 2. We have a member who continues to be vocal, and it's hard to get back the floor. Donna, do you want to take this one?
I will, and I know that some of the questions that came in during the webinar, there was some similarities. In the event that a vocal person is not aware that it is not appropriate to speak out at any time, the regent or presiding chairman should politely remind all meeting attendees to address the chair should they wish to make a motion or participate in debate. The chapter regent should also be sure she has a good grasp of parliamentary procedure, or she should work with her parliamentarian for proper guidance.
Question number 3. What should be done if there is a serious disagreement between one of the board members and the regent on how the board member should do her job? Does the regent automatically prevail? And should the board member resign to make room for a person more agreeable with the views of the regent? Leanne, what are your thoughts on this?
Sure. If the roles and responsibilities are outlined in the bylaws or the standing rules, then you can reference the job responsibilities there. If it is an item not covered, then the bylaws committee can update the bylaws and the chapter can vote on those updated bylaws. But not all responsibilities are written. Members should realize that there is more than just one way to look at a situation or skin a cat, and allow for some flexibility in how the work of the society is accomplished. There are so many solutions, multiple solutions to the challenges and problems that we face.
Question number 4, excuse me. How do you balance the need for tradition and the need for the changes to how we've always done it?
Again, like the previous answer, I think there are typically multiple solutions to the challenges and the problems that we all see and have happened. The overall goal can still represent the tradition while the methods employed can reflect the necessary changes. For example, imagine how things were done before we had computers and other technology, how our computers have enhanced the work for the society. So, here are two helpful hints to find that balance. Let the society's mission be your guide and don't get lost in the details. It is easy to get caught up in all the details of our work and to lose the sight of the big picture.
That is so true. Thank you, Leanne. Question number 5. There are differing views amongst our board about whether we should provide perspectives with the application. Some perspectives have done their own genealogy. What are our guidelines for allowing a prospective member to complete her own application?
This is Donna. If the applicant has done her own research, she should be allowed to fill out her own application form. The membership chairman and registrar should also work with her throughout the application process for guidance and encouragement, and also to ensure that the completed form conforms to our guidelines.
Great. Thank you, Donna. We have a few questions that we'd like to take from the audience. The first one is, we have a diverse group with many points of view. Having said that, there are a couple of people who at times express opinions on candidates, medical points of view which are incorrect or misguided, or religion, just to name a few. How do we handle those issues and not make anyone angry? Leanne, is this something you can help us address?
I hope so. Again, I think it's important to stay focused on the problem or the issue, not the person. If possible, redirect the group or the individual who is voicing the opinion to focus on what's best for the DAR. Go through the steps for getting to a resolution. Can it be realistically solved? Can you gather and review the facts as appropriate? And does it make sense to focus on the problem and the person, not the person? Brainstorm those ideas to try to resolve what the issue might be, what are the underlying issues, and then, of course, make those decisions that are best to bring about the chance of success.
Thanks, Leanne. Another question we received. Our nominating committee picks the slate. Do we vote at the meeting that a new slate is presented to the membership, or should it be voted on at the next meeting? There are some members that might like to run. How is this decided?
This is Leanne. You would have to follow your bylaws, and there should be a contingency for nominations from the floor. As we know, it's traditional to read the slate one meeting and elect the next. But again, you have to follow your bylaws.
Okay, let's see. Are there any other questions, Donna, that we can take from the audience today?
There are, and Leanne, I'll probably try to answer maybe some of them, but maybe if you feel like you can also add your thoughts on this would be great too.
Great.
Let's see here. I'm kind of going through these here. So one of them is, and these, I think we deal with this, I think all of us deal with this in our chapters. What do you do when there is a conflict with a member who is deliberately disrespectful and whose concern is not what is best for the state or national society? There seem to be some members who are interested in control and power, and that is all about it. So my response, and then Ann, if you want to add, my response is, our chapter meetings are business meetings, and you have your Robert's Rules to help guide you. So if someone is being disrespectful in the meeting, during the chapter meeting, I think that the regent can say, again, I think we mentioned this earlier in the webinar and part of the question, is there something that you want to debate on, or would you like to make a motion? And if it's not relevant, please take your discussion, what we call offline, but outside of the chapter meeting. So at least you take it away from the membership. Sounds like there might be an internal conflict, and those other people are going to have to try to figure that out using the conflict resolution steps. Ann, thoughts?
Absolutely. And kind of going along with that is preventing the conflict, making sure that, again, you have frequent meetings, making sure that your officers and members have a format to express themselves openly, and you are sharing with everyone at each meeting up front what the objectives of the meeting are. You're having clear, detailed agenda so that everyone knows what to expect and kind of what the rules are right up front.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna take this one too, and Leanne, feel free to jump in. Someone had responded with, and if it is the regent who is being disrespectful, this is not the first time I've heard of it. In fact, all over the society, we probably have seen this in our chapters as well. And again, if you go back to the leadership traits, what you might want to consider is taking, again, the regent after chapter, if it was in a chapter meeting, and say, you know, Elaine or Mary, I'd like to talk to you about something today that happened in our chapter. And you might just sit her down and say, you know, and this is really difficult on the person that's saying that, but when we talk about this positive side to conflict, this is where you grow as a person. And you say, Mary, you know, we really are having some negativity in our chapter, and I'd like to talk to you about it, how we can prevent this. And this is when you, again, start going through the resolution process of what is the underlying issue. Maybe she has some things going on at home. Understand what is going on and what are the facts, and really try to keep the personality out, or the personal piece of it out of it. It's hard, but someone has to do it, right? If it's important to the chapter and to your relationship. Leanne?
I think that's absolutely excellent. And to kind of follow on that, you are addressing it right up front as soon as it happens. You are looking to maintain that person's self-esteem. You are going to be trying to brainstorm, looking for ideas to try to resolve the issue and brainstorming together. Use a third party if that is the best approach. Perhaps someone who can help with talking through the issues.
Okay. Thank you. I was reading a little bit ahead, Leanne, of some of the other. You know, Leanne, I'm going to ask you this one, and I'm going to put you on the spot, but maybe you have seen this from your experience. This question says, how can I control cliques who cause discord in our chapter?
That's a difficult one, because I think trying to control it is perhaps the hardest thing to do. Maybe you've got to let go and know that you can't control it. But again, you've got to try to understand what the situation is, what are the underlying issues perhaps that are occurring. Is there a point where you can gather parties together to talk openly about perhaps what you are seeing, and to gather different points of view about the situation? Do other people have the same perspective, or are they seeing the same sort of thing? Again, focusing on what the problem is and not the person or the group. Again, knowing yourself is very important, and maintaining the self-esteem of others as you are having this discussion. Showing the empathy, but most importantly, making it something that all of the parties involved can participate in brainstorming and figuring out ideas to resolve the issue. What are the strategies or thoughts about trying to redirect the atmosphere, the group dynamics, to make it more inclusive and to make it a one chapter, one atmosphere, one group, as opposed to cliques or two different groups or multiple groups.
Right. You know, and I think, again, when we talk through, some people are already asking about the archived session. And as always, all of these are archived, and we'll get the script for you. I know this was a fast webinar, so you can go through this a little bit. But as you said, Leanne, knowing yourself, even creating this webinar helped me understand. I'm like, well, wait a minute. I actually do get frustrated when these certain things happen. I'm like, okay, I need to remember, again, to look at all sides. And I think if we can remember to look at all sides and we listen to others, I think half of our problem is taken care of. Unfortunately, we're all women, and we all seem to have this emotional trait that a lot of other organizations or male organizations don't have. So it's harder for us, but I think we become stronger as well. Okay, one more. And there's a lot coming in, and I promise we'll get to these either email, or you all have my phone number. You can call me and we can walk through this. Where did my question go? Okay, this one is, and Leanne, maybe you can help me out with this one again. A conflict exists between an officer and other members on her committee. The regent listens to all sides of the issue to see if they can work it out themselves. If it comes down to harm the chapter or the society, the regent will have to make a decision that is in the best interest of the chapter and society. Is that correct?
I think that's a key element in trying to resolve the issue at hand, and keeping in mind what is best for the chapter, for the society. There are compromises, and trying to find that common ground. As we talked about earlier, there can be multiple solutions, and there may be different pieces of those various solutions that can be used to bring about the best decision and representing a compromise, perhaps, among the various perspectives in how the issue or the conflict is resolved. It's not about who wins and who loses. It's about what is best for the chapter, what is going to make the chapter, the society stronger, and what are the objectives? What are you trying to, what is the chapter trying to achieve and accomplish as a group?
Yeah, that's when you said compromises, that made me remember that when we were doing our research for this, again, we talked about there were 40 million hits on the internet of conflict resolution, and that doesn't even count conflict negotiation and conflict management or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And I remember reading where you can help resolve conflict through avoidance or compromise, or there's some other factors in that too. But that's conflict resolution like 301 or something like that. So again, I encourage people on the phone. I know we're still getting some messages in that this is basic. This is a basic webinar about conflict resolution. There are some key areas to help you become a better leader and a better member for your chapter. It's not going to, some will be easy and some won't be easy, but it's a start. So we hope that it has helped you at least get some of the basics.
Thanks, everyone. Leanne, as you're well aware, conflict resolution is a difficult task. Is there anything else you would like to share that would help finalize and close our session today?
Thank you, Jean Ellen. Yes, I think this presentation has thoroughly covered all the important concepts on handling conflict. Hopefully, participants can use this training that they've received today and begin to apply some of these resolution techniques in a variety of settings, but most importantly, a resource for working together in their chapter. I think it's most important to remember that your leadership skills will go a long way in helping to resolve and to prevent conflict.
Thank you. We hope this webinar has answered some key questions about how to approach conflict resolution. For more information or to hear this recorded webinar later, please go to our website at members.dar.org. Look for the DAR Leadership Training under the Committee section and click Webinar Archives. Donna, would you like to tell us about next month?
I would. Next month, our topic is My App or Application Goes to Washington. After months of research and preparation, or perhaps a quick afternoon on the computer using Build an App, you have finally finished the application process for a prospective member, obtained a chapter check from your treasurer, and dropped the application in the mail. What happens next? In this webinar, you will follow the application process in Washington from the mailroom, where it is received, to the boardroom, where your prospective member receives your national number. This should be a fun webinar. The target audience is chapter regents and vice regents, state regents and vice regents, and chapter and state officers. However, all DIO members will benefit. Please check the members' website for registration details, to view the webinar archives, and for updates to the schedule. Thanks, everyone, for participating. This will now end our session.